Hello, this is Danielle Yawowiecka with the BBC News. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine says the war with Russia has entered an emotionally difficult stage after the city of Severodonetsk fell to the Russian army. In his nightly address, Mr. Zelensky said he didn't know how many more blows and losses there would be before victory appeared on the horizon. He said air defence systems held in storage in allied nations were needed more than ever. The Ukrainians were forced to retreat from Severodonetsk after weeks of fighting that has left the city in ruins. Ukraine's military intelligence chief is Kyrylo Budanov.
The actions taking place near Severodonetsk represent a tactical regrouping of our forces. We're withdrawing to more advantageous positions in order to gain tactical superiority. Based on current conditions, it's no longer possible to hold the line in the ruins and open fields, so the defence forces have withdrawn to higher ground, from where the defence operation will continue.
President Putin has said Moscow will supply Belarus with Iskander-M missile systems. At a televised meeting with the Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko in Moscow, Mr. Putin said the short-range mobile systems would be handed over.
We have made a decision. Within the next few months, we will hand over to Belarus the Iskander-M tactical missile systems, which, as you know, can use both ballistic and cruise missiles, both in conventional and nuclear versions.
The Russian leader also raised the possibility of modifying Belarusian military aircraft so that they could carry nuclear weapons. There's been further criticism from President Biden of Friday's Supreme Court decision to remove the constitutional right to abortion. The ruling was, he said, painful and devastating for many Americans. He said his administration would be closely monitoring how individual states implemented bans, in particular whether they might violate a constitutional right by preventing people from crossing state borders to seek abortions. Further demonstrations have been taking place outside the Supreme Court. This woman was protesting against the court's decision.
I think that guns right now are less regulated than women's bodies, and that is wrong. Straight up, that is wrong, and I'm going to continue to be out here until that's not a thing anymore. Abortion is considered health care. Abortion is it's always going to be a thing, so we might as well make it safe and accessible.
An emergency committee of the World Health Organization has determined that the spread of monkeypox to more than 50 countries does not yet warrant its highest alert level. The WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom said the experts were divided over the evolving threat, but shared serious concerns about its scale and speed. You're listening to the World News from the BBC. Zimbabwe's annual inflation has risen to more than 190% this month. Inflation, which was at 96% in April, has nearly doubled as the prices of cooking oil and bread have increased as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Sri Lankan energy minister has urged people not to queue up in front of fuel stations after several expected shipments of oil were delayed. He said oil cargoes that were due to arrive had not reached the country for banking and logistical reasons. Sri Lanka is facing a crippling foreign currency crisis and is struggling to import food, fuel and medicines. Gabon and Togo have been admitted as new members of the Commonwealth at the organisation's Heads of Government Summit in Rwanda. The Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, welcomed the two countries and said it reflected the diversity of the Commonwealth. Joyce Itutu reports from Kigali.
The two West and Central African countries follow in the footsteps of Rwanda and Mozambique, who became members despite not having any links to the former British Empire. According to Reuters, the Togolese foreign minister said Togo's inclusion into the Commonwealth would help it develop closer ties with English-speaking countries, opening up new horizons outside of France's sphere of influence in West Africa. As new members of the Commonwealth, the nations must agree to a set of core values which include democracy, free and fair elections, and gender equality.
An indigenous leader in Peru has criticised the government's decision to declare a 60-day state of emergency on their lands without consulting them. The Peruvian authorities announced the measure on Friday, saying it was aimed at protecting the area in the country's Amazon region from a surge in illegal logging and mining. One of the leaders of the autonomous One Piece Nation said the mere presence of the police and the army in the region wouldn't solve the problem. That's the latest BBC News.